Had like a little throat clear. All right, let's do this thing. It is Thursday, March 25th. Welcome everyone to Living Room Sports Talk. Here, Macaulay, Zach Rothenberger. Look at this, dude. We got the little Group 5 duo here, man. The little CFS throwback. Dude, we haven't done a show just you and me in a minute.
I know, it is a Group 5 reunion. Back to the, how old were you, like 10 years old, 8 years old?
You know what the only thing is, I swear I was actually just thinking about this a couple days ago with like baseball chatter and stuff. You were telling me in Group 5, this is actually when I thought you were a really cool kid, because you were like, dude, the Marlins, I think, have a pretty good team. And then I think it was like the next year, I think it was when they won the World Series. And I was like, I want to talk to Zach, but he goes to a different school. You went to Brandywine Wallace.
That's right, I did. Wow, good memory. Brandywine Wallace, Downtown Middle School, all that good stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, throwbacks. But you know, it's nice. We haven't been on the air. I feel like it was for the better. You know, we owed it to the audience. Let them watch a little March Madness. Let us watch a little March Madness on Monday. It's better to watch the games than just hear me talk like an idiot, you know, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, that's more like me being the idiot, but you're, yeah. So, no, I agree. A lot of
picks were pretty good. That's the only thing I will say.
Picks were good.
They were hot. I don't even know why I had like the hoodie thing going tonight because it's.
What were you 11-4?
I gotta. I'm
March
trying to think now because Thursday was bad. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, especially Monday, were good. Monday, we were perfect, 3-0.
We're playing games on Thursday.
I was trying to, it's a mulligan, right? It's a breakfast ball game.
Yeah.
So,
breakfast ball picks. We call it.
Yeah, exactly. But, all right, so we got a great show for everyone tonight. Just you and me, Cowboy, rolling along here. So, I feel bad. Chad at work, but he's doing stuff for the Phillies, so I feel like that's a pretty fun work assignment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm also like trying to fix my camera over here for everyone. Look at that. I'm like guessing, looking through the other way. I'm like, I hope in a second when I see this coming through, that's going to look the right way.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Nice. There we go. I was like looking. I was like, there you go, Kieran. Way to move it the right direction. All right, here we go. We got a great show for everyone. We got March Madness recap. So we'll talk about the games of the last 2 rounds. We'll talk about the Sweet 16 that's coming up this weekend. And, you know, we're not going to do clickbait. Start talking Elite 8, Zach. We'll do that on Monday when those games start. Let's do a show on Monday, though, for that. That'll be fun because there's not as many games going on.
Yeah.
But to that point, we'll talk NFL offseason as well. A little NHL chatter. I'm pissed Chad's not on tonight. Well, I mean, I just love having him on, but I'm pissed because I want to talk to him about the local hockey team here because I have some thoughts, but we'll say that for a rainy day because it's sunny out. And then, we'll talk a little bit about baseball. And we have the menu tonight, but as always, I guess, little clickbait. Get started. We got the chat. We got the chat always is rocking and rolling. So, there we go. Right now and then, they just hopped in it. This is great, getting everyone back rocking and rolling. But do you want me to do a little clickbait to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
I want you to pick. I want to pick your brain on this one, Zach, because it's funny. You. I feel like, especially we're more an NBA guy, especially like high school, college. Like you're, I feel like an insider yourself. Trade deadline was today. First of all, Victor Oladipo, I swear, has been traded to every team in the NBA at this point. I feel like these make too much. To me, I think just trade deadlines in general, they make too much. I don't know. I get it's the idea that you can, sell a player to get draft picks, et cetera, right, to set up for the future. So there's actually some good value out there when you do make a trade. But I don't know. I just feel like the name is floating around. The Sixers got George Hill today. I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. I used to, as a kid, love watching trade deadlines because I felt like a kid watching like people open presents like for other teams. I'm trying to open a present myself, like for whatever team I'm rooting for. And it just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I feel like for what the Sixers gave up for George Hill, I think George Hill, and I'm not saying he's a great player, but I think he brings a nice veteran presence.
Yeah, because they
the
gave
team
up,
trying to make a playoff run. Well, they're number 1 in the Eastern Conference, so of course they're going to make a playoff run, but you know what I mean? I think it gives a good locker room presence.
Him for Zaire Smith, because I'm trying to Tony
Bradley.
Tony Bradley. You're never going to sell that stock higher, right? How well he's played for I feel bad at saying that. I loved watching the Sixers uniform, the way he hustled and stuff. But, all right, but I digress. I don't know. It's not a big trade deadline guy. I feel like it's a little over. I think it's just clickbaity, right? The amount of articles that flow out the week before a trade deadline where everyone's just like, oh, my God. Like, so I don't know. That's mine, but what do you got for yours?
Well, I will say, it was actually, I had to do some digging for my clickbait because of so much NBA trade deadline stuff just flooding every possible clickbait source. So I had to go to good old reliable Sports Illustrated.
God. It's funny when I saw that I was like, "Yep, he's going to one of his old." It's like it's old fashioned.
Yeah, it's like so Yeah, so Sports Illustrated, there was an article, and it said why each team will and won't make the Final Four. So it's basically, I'll analogize it. This is like saying, hey, Zach, you have nice six-pack abs. I don't, but nice six-pack abs, but your face is ugly. Like, that's like saying you're so great, but you really, like, you're not. Like, what the hell? What kind of article is this? It's
like saying, take. You can call this coin heads or tails. It's like
that's even better. That's even better.
No. I liked yours. You had the Hollister analogy going.
Yeah, there you go. The Hollister analogy, perfect with the ripped jeans and everything.
Oh yeah, God. Did you ever go in there in the mall when I was a kid?
I think I went in with like my 7th grade girlfriend, but I never went.
7th grade girlfriend type place to go.
Yeah, I never went in and bought anything. I never once wore. It smelled nice in there, but I never. It's funny.
That's better than me. I was gonna say I think the only time I went was like in high school with girls that I wasn't dating, but I was like trying to do it and like going in there. So yeah.
But, 7th grade dating is the equivalent of she said hi to me in the hallway.
So. Oh man, it was funny. Speaking of camp, remember those camp relationships? Whoa, God. I was never cool enough to like jump into those rings, but I just remember thinking like, wow, people are dating and they're like 12 and they're like in camp. Like, whew.
She hugged him.
God, what a world. But all right, let's jump into that point. Let's get into the March Madness chatter. Your clickbait was really related to that, and it's funny. I'm looking at this. Look at this nice, clean bracket that once was. How are you looking in our bracket pool, by the way?
I'm in the middle. I think I'm like 20th or 22nd or something like that. But I keep telling myself, I'm like, all right, well, just because I'm not up there right now doesn't mean I can't possibly get there because. It shows like your total possible in the bracket pool. So I saw my total is still semi competitive. So
yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm not looking so hot.
I know. I know. I saw Chad got dinged pretty bad when Texas lost. Obviously, no shot at him, but he had Texas winning it, so that hurt his.
Well, he was
chances.
Speaking highly of them on the show a week ago.
Well, I spoke highly of Georgetown, so we saw what happened. So
well, it's funny too. And I'm not bragging because that's my point. Look at my I'm not in there.
You had a lot of upset picks though.
Well, I had Oral Roberts in the Sweet 16. I was like, look at these pictures of this kid celebrating. Good for them. I was just as happy, when you get a pick like that right. But at the same point, it was like. When you get Missouri wrong over Oklahoma, when you have BYU going to the Elite Eight playing UConn, and they both lose in the first round, like those things don't work.
Don't work at all. What made you pick Oral Roberts? Was it like a shot in the dark, or did you have some type of hunch? Did you talk to Dr. Frank?
It's funny you say that because no, actually, so. Funny. I'll pull this up. May I for 1 second just get the old horn out and toot it because. I did not. This is not about me, Zach, today. This is about the people that clicked on our website, looked at the picks, and read what I said. And I even clarified on Twitter that I was not drunk when those picks got out that morning. Because seriously, okay. So what's funny? I don't know why sports has theatrics to it, right? And first of all, I thought Ohio State's stock was never going to be higher than where it was, just the way they looked in the Big Ten tournament. And I generally have and I really believe it now moving forward. If you do a bracket advice thing next year, let me add this in. I think the conference that has like the sexiest amount of teams go, like 9, 10 powerhouse squads that can beat anyone, right? Like the Big Ten this year. They all got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen the Big East before. I've seen the Big 12 before. Like all those Power 5 conferences have kind of had that moment in the sun. But they all fade, and it's always that one right behind them. Like it's why everyone's like, "Oh, the SEC is not that good. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 are not that good." It's like, well, all right, well, the Pac-12 and the SEC don't look so bad, right? I mean, especially in the first weekend. But the way I think Arkansas is really good. But anyway, I digress. I don't know. Like, I'm just like trying to think about like just everything. Like, I guess the first thought was that put in my head was. When they did the selection show, when Ohio State got announced they're playing Oral Roberts, they all went like, and I was like, every single, and I was funny because then they showed Oral Roberts like celebrating. I was like, oh, they're gonna see that. Like, if I was a coach, I'd put that in every single day in the film, just like drop the little clips in there. And I was like, they're not a bad team. They were playing pretty hot. They knocked off some good teams in the Summit League, maybe I think it was a Summit League. I'm guessing correctly.
Well, they made the tournament, so they got to be good, right? I mean,
right, yeah, and like I don't know. I just felt like, and then I read that they had played 5 teams in the tournament and they covered all 5 games. and that they basically lost all of them really close. I was like, they're not a bad team.
There you go.
Like, and so then I figured Ohio State might be down, and then Oral Roberts might be up, and then as I keep rambling on, and then I had Florida playing them, and I was like, they could be Florida. Florida sucks. And then, there we are. So,
dude, kudos to you, because I would have never called 15 going to the Sweet 16. So,
yeah, well, I had Illinois in the finals, so it's not good.
Well, I had which team lost? I think I had Illinois in my Final Four. So, I mean, I'm close to you. So, yeah.
We'll have some fun. We'll it's that point. Let me ask you. So, what do you think was one of the best games you watched? But I mean, how great? First of all, how great was it to see the games?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, it's funny. I think I watched the Virginia and Ohio game, and I put $60 on the Virginia money line to win like 20, which I rarely do, but I figured out Virginia, Tony Bennett, defensive team.
Love Tony Bennett.
Yeah,
it's an entourage reference there.
Yeah, well, that didn't pan out. So I mean, I watched that game very closely, so I thought that was a good game. But another game I'm looking through because there were so many really good ones. Was which one was it?
Loyola Chicago and Illinois was pretty good.
Yeah,
Mr. Gene.
I will say, and I wrote down. Speaking of teams that are hot and good games and stuff, I wrote down 3 teams that I'm thinking are like you just tell by the way they're playing that they're like nothing is really phasing them, and Loyola Chicago is definitely one of them. And here we go again, Mr. Gene. But I got a game for you. The game that I really enjoyed was Abilene Christian versus Texas. And
yeah, I fell asleep for that one.
Yeah, I'll say that because 14 seed being a 3 seed, obviously. And then you look at the players on Abilene Christian, and they look like no offense to them, obviously, but you look at like their size compared to like a Texas or like a bigger school. Like their point guard looks like he might weigh 150 pounds soaking wet. Like it's just cool to see like those type of schools come out of nowhere. Like I've heard of Abilene Christian before, but it might have been like maybe once or twice in my lifetime, So I thought it was
that
cool
one too, actually.
Yeah, you did exactly.
But that's like I'm not going to sit here and say all the ones I had right because I had plenty wrong. But it's funny. I love what Joe said in the chat. The Big Ten got their teeth kicked in.
I know
he really did.
I wonder if that's from beating up on each other all.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's what it is, and because you see it every year, like from whatever the most dominant conference is, it seems like. And I think Michigan's going to go down to Florida State personally, and then with the Pac-12, someone lost. Who lost? Oh, Colorado lost.
Yeah, they lost to. I have it up right here. They lost to Florida State by a lot, by 19.
Yeah,
or 18. Yeah,
Florida State's not bad. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting.
One thing that I think is really like I've never seen this before is a quarter of the Sweet 16. So 4 of the 16 teams are double-digit seeds.
That's fun,
right?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like that. This year, like I feel like realistically, like a double-digit seeded team could literally go to the Final Four this year, which we've seen that I don't know how many times.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Didn't Loyola Chicago make it to the Final Four?
Did they? It was either there or the Elite Eight. It was close, yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Alexa, has Loyola Chicago ever made the Final Four? Yeah, I know they're in the tournament. Alexa, volume 6. Come on now. That was awful. All of that was just not what I wanted. But that's all right. And look at that. Wilbur Montgomery played for Abilene Christian. There's a fun fact for you, Zach.
Nice.
Thanks to the chat. But let me ask you this. What did you think of the new schedule?
I kind of liked it. I think if I was in... Listen, I loved when we were in high school, and it was like your teachers would have it on the TV while you're in class, like, but on mute. Like, I thought that was so cool. But now that we're adults and we're grown ups, like I
love how you put that in quotes.
I like I like the Friday, Saturday, and then the Sunday, Monday deal. I like it on the weekends. I think it's cool,
Oh, it's funny. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was dead wrong. I was like, this sucks. This is horrible. I love this. They should just keep it like this because it also spiced up Monday. And here's the kicker for you, Zach. just do the math. If you're working Thursday and Friday, there's 16 games on Thursday, there's 16 games on Friday, so you're missing 32 games. Mm-hmm. If you do Friday and Monday, that's 8 and 16. Instead, so you're missing 24 games.
Well, the ratings, I'm sure, are through the roof because of that.
Oh, plus, so basically, you get a Saturday where you can watch all 16 games. That's awesome.
Like, think about it.
Like, take off, like, you can just make it a long weekend if your team plays that Friday or something.
Like, think about it. College football, are you likely to watch a MAC game on a Tuesday night? I mean, maybe if you have skin on it, maybe. But, like, you watch a lot of your football on the weekends is what I'm getting at. So why wouldn't they have this all be on the weekends for the most part? Yeah.
Exactly, and then you can spice it up because, like, think of it this way: when you're working to like that Monday, like you didn't have time for like 16 games, but 8 was perfect. Like rolling out at noon, then 2, then 5 was perfect, just to kind of take you through.
Yeah, the nice thing about work from home is like you can kind of have it on in the background, but if you're on meetings, you really can't. So it's just. I
had it on in the background the entire. Yeah, just on mute. Take a look, just like we do at the show sometimes.
Yeah, just got to peek over, right? Dude, so I gotta ask. I'm not trying to take the bait on this, but what are your thoughts on Villanova right now?
I think it's the end of the road against Baylor. I think they'll cover that 7.5 spread. I do. I think they'll cover that 7.5 spread, but I think they'll lose by like 5 or 6, and it'll be like one of those games where it's a gritty fight, and then they'll just kind of be losing somewhere between like 2 and 10, and it's just kind of fluttering around. But it's just they can't quite get there.
I just don't trust. You know me. I don't trust Baylor. So I don't know, man. From watching Nova over the weekend, like I feel like Jay Wright's a great coach, but I just feel like in the tournament he's like a whole other level, and I think his team plays on a whole other level. So I don't know. I think it's scary. I'm not trying to be the guy. Oh, Nova again, but I mean realistically, it's possible.
And let me pull up. So I'll pull up the games real quick for this weekend. Let's look at. So Villanova plays on Saturday. We'll look at those games first. That's the other thing. It's a little weird. Sweet 16 would have been tonight normally, then the Elite 8 would have been Saturday and Sunday. But we push forward, and it's Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday will be the Elite 8. But also look at the chat. Fun fact, Zach, do you know that Loyola won the NCAA championship in 1963?
Wow. So how old was Sister Jean?
I don't know, but I heard that the day she was born, Babe Ruth had like 2 doubles and like 3 RBIs or something like that.
Wow.
For the Red Sox.
That's crazy. So Sister Jean was around 40 years old because was she 101?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Think about that.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, well, it's not awesome that she's old, but you know what I mean? Like, it's good for her. Like, that's sick.
Good story, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's that point. Let's look at them real quick. So they play Oregon State. That Oregon State team is just burning me left and right. I feel like I picked them losing the first round. I thought they were frauds. So I'm just kind of like done like looking at them.
I think that's a game where Loyola Chicago should roll, though, in my opinion.
It's a little slow spread. I think Oregon State covers it somehow. I don't know why, but
I'm at a point where I don't even look at spreads anymore when it comes to basketball betting. I just do money lines, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Just sober up with your bracket kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I like what Joe's saying in the chat, too, about how Gonzaga, they look so damn good. They look so damn good, dude.
I'll say the 3 teams I'm seeing are really hitting their strides and are no nonsense, in my opinion. It's Gonzaga, Loyola, Chicago, and Villanova right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Arkansas? Look at them. So do you think Nova's going to beat Baylor real quick?
Yeah, I do.
Woo-hoo! Is that getting fun?
I don't know. And that's a fun money line, by the way, for Nova. I don't know what it is, but if Baylor's 7.5 point favorite, it's got to be juicy. So I'm sure it's like plus 250 or something.
It is plus 240.
Oh, there you go. Call me odds maker.
Yeah, there you go. Right?
No, but dude, Arkansas. I have Arkansas in my championship game against Gonzaga. I do.
Do you really, dude? I'm not gonna win this bracket. Damn it! I thought them in Florida State were my ticket home.
Well, I mean, hey man, anything can happen. Well, the thing with Arkansas, what game was it? I'm trying to find it because I'm like scrolling through all the score sheets. They just beat Texas Tech by what, 2 or 3?
Mm-hmm.
So it's close.
Texas Tech, 2. They won what?
And they were down. And they were down late.
Well, that's what the chat was even saying. That was a great game. I fell asleep for that too. But okay, don't blame me for that. I fell asleep because I thought Arkansas was going to run away with it. So I was like, all right, let's go to bed. Get ready for Monday.
Because they started up, and then I think towards the end they were down, and they came back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think sometimes when you go through games like that, it might it wears you down a little bit.
But see, I was about to say, I think those are the teams that might win something because you have to go through something. But I know what you're saying too. It's one of the others. Those types of games, it's better. It's almost like if you're going to get banged around in the fight, like let it be like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to analogize it to a fight. I don't know how it would be better or worse at the beginning or end. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's
let it be
a
the beginning, I guess.
it's
more fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like this. Like they had time to have a few days to recover and kind of get it out of the way. So it's almost like you felt the knife, but now you get it back to, get back and retreat. And, yeah.
So I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
So Oregon. They got the pass, obviously, with VCU, unfortunately. Like, do you think that played a role in them beating Iowa by 15?
No. We'll find out against USC. I'm intrigued because
USC's
USC also
team.
rocked Kansas. But I told you in that, I just said in this pick, I said Kansas sucks.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I bet that money line, too.
I know. Well,
I put their live money line. It was plus something, so I figured I might as well take it. But
Kansas?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Zach, no. Here's the problem.
I'm still learning.
Well, it's okay. Here's the problem. So Kansas beat a team with, and I actually thought this was one of the more fun parts of March Madness. And why am I drawing a blank on their names? It's those two kids from Washington, or Eastern Washington. Sorry, I gotta look it up real quick. This is gonna like stalling. It's like get the Jeopardy theme music out, but. The two brothers on Eastern Washington that had like the long hair and come on, where is it? Saturday.
No, I didn't watch that one.
Of course, ESPN of all times. Oh, Groves. Sorry, it was Tanner Groves and Jacob Groves. So they played out of their minds, and they accounted for about. I think I did the math. It was like 70% of Eastern Washington's offense. They had four other guys score. They had one guy in double digits besides those guys. He had 12 points. Someone had 7. Someone had 5, and then someone had 2. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. So Kansas played a team that really was not that good. And they barely won. So I was like, oh, no, they're getting axed against USC. Those Mobley brothers are no joke on USC.
Oh, I know.
They played, so to that point, I think that's going to be a great test for Oregon to bring it back to the top to answer your question, finally.
Yeah, because I was really curious to see how Oregon was going to react. Like, I thought that was I thought that was a lock for Iowa, against Oregon, thinking that, Oregon's going to be nervous because this is technically their first game. Iowa's got the dust shaken off already with the tournament vibes. And I was completely wrong. So,
yeah, that's how it goes, though. It's like flipping a coin.
I feel like this March Madness is so different. It's like there's a lot more variable teams that are in this now, and it's almost like really like I don't even know who to think. But
are they doing a bubble? I'm looking at the chat. Are they doing a bubble? I don't. They're all in Indianapolis. I'm sure they're doing like some type of
they're all in Indianapolis. Yeah.
But to that point, what about oh shoot, it's front of my head. Let me pull up those Sunday games real quick. By the way, what do you think real quick is the other Saturday game? Syracuse and Houston. I'll run over that real quick.
I think that's a very interesting game. I don't know any coach who has more experience in the tournament more than Jim Boeheim.
Dude, it's so annoying. So annoying.
Well, did you see the stat that he's won at least one tournament game in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, and 2020s?
See, here's the thing. Every year, I feel like Charlie Brown, and he's Lucy with the football. And my bracket's the football. And the problem is every year at Zach, it's almost like they actually hide the best part of that 2-3 zone that they do until the playoffs or whatever. Like the tournament. Yeah. Because and not even the Big East tournament, just like that, because they literally look horrible all year. They're like the team that goes like 17 and like 14, and it's just like I don't know. I don't think they really should be in the tournament. And everyone's like, well, because they're Syracuse, we'll like let them be a bubble team. And then, of course, the committee lets them right in. And then they do the zone thing, and they're always like an 11 seed or 13 seed or whatever. And they're always like an 11 seed and playing that Thursday game or whatever, that playing game. And then they go to the Sweet 16. It's unbelievable every year. And every year I look at it, I'm like, no, this team sucks. I know last year's team, whatever. Like this year they're not. No. And every year I get tripped up by it. And it drives me nuts. It drives me insane.
Good old Buddy Boeheim. He's killing it.
I'm reading articles like, oh, if he gets hot, like that's the only way they'll win. I'm like, well, he can't get hot, right? And it's like,
let me read you his last 4 games. I'll tell you his points and his 3-point percentage. So we're going from the 4th game back. 27 points, 31. The first round of the tournament, 30. Last game, 25. Now here's his 3-point percentages. 50%, 6 for 12, 62%, 5 for 8, 70%, 7 for 10. Then in the last game, 46, 6 for 13. So I'd say he's hot. But can he carry the whole team? You know what I mean? Like, can he carry that the whole tournament? We'll see.
Well, that's the problem. That's why I figure, I'm like, well, he can't. And it's like they do just enough to do it. I think, once again, but they'll lose at some point this week. And if I say they lose this in the Sweet 16, they'll lose in the Elite Eight. If I say they'll lose in the Elite Eight, they'll lose in the Sweet 16. So,
yeah, of course. Yeah,
or they'll just be wrong and go to the Final Four. Like,
that's a Saturday. That's the late game.
That's a late night one. And I'll tell you, let me pull up this
Eastern.
I know that's a tough one. Let me pull up the Sunday games too. There's a late one there too, that USC Oregon one. But and we were talking about Gonzaga earlier with Joe in the comments. That's if there's ever a time where I pause in my bracket, I mean this, when I was filling it out, I picked Gonzaga to win. But if there was ever a time I really paused at it, this was the game. I had Creighton playing them in the Sweet 16, and I was like, Creighton could do it. What's that spread?
The 13.
Oh, never mind. No, they're not. 13.5. No, they're not.
Well, I kind of like taking Creighton 13.5. That's a lot of points. I kind of like taking it, but I think Gonzaga will win. But
they're not going to get rocked, right?
I don't think they'll get rocked, no. Unless they're like
because they just got rocked in the Big East tournament against Georgetown?
Yeah, Georgetown destroyed them in the final, yeah. So you got to think they're not going to get rocked within 3 or 4 games of each other, hopefully, I think. I mean, Dr. Frank did say that Creighton is a team that could make a run because of their 3-point shooting, so.
That's true.
It's a double-edged sword, though.
I can see it. They keep up with scoring Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of that? You know, it's funny. And Joe mentioned the only Big 12 or that Big 10 team left is Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about that game against Florida State? That's an intriguing one. I have Florida State in my Final Four, just full disclosure. Some people are like, obviously, I think they can win this game. That's actually I had Michigan losing to St. Bonaventure, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a tough one because Florida State, I feel like throughout the last years or two, has shown that they can beat the big guys. Like in prime time or these big games, they show up and win. So that's a tough one. I mean, the spread on ESPN looking is Michigan minus 2.5. So I mean, that tells you a lot right there for the 1 seed. Only minus 2.5. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Get back in the lines now.
Yeah. Right now we're getting back in the line. I don't know who to take there. I mean, I think Florida State's a fun option. I think a lot of people, from a betting perspective, would see, oh wow, only minus 2.5. We're gonna take Michigan, and then Florida State's coming.
If you watch Florida State play, like 6 out of 8 times they're gonna play great, and it's just like the other 2. It's just like
it's really bad.
What?
Yeah,
I know, and it's just like they had one of those in the ACC tournament, but I'm just like I'm scared about that one. That's all I was thinking as I pushed it along to the Final Four. I'm just like, don't have that clunker game. Like you should have it in the budget not to do that. You just had one of the that's literally what I was thinking. I was like, well, you just had one of the ACC. It's like a volcano. I'm just like, well, you just erupted in the ACC tournament, so you should make it to the Final Four before you have another clunker. And then I'll fade them then probably.
Yeah. You got to get it out, get your use of them while you can, and then you dump them next.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those teams, right? And so let me pull this up. So UCLA, Alabama. That's a fun one.
It is. I think
it's 2 teams I don't trust at all playing each other. That's kind of the funny thing about the whole ordeal.
No, I
think Alabama probably rolls them and then just gets smacked around in the Elite Eight. That's my prediction.
That's what I'm thinking too. I have Alabama in my Elite Eight. I'm sticking with the Tide here.
Roll Tide, right? Well, that's your LSU guy.
Yeah, they got knocked out.
We should go to a game, by the way, this fall for them.
I'd love to go to an LSU-Bama game. That'd be fun.
We should do that next year.
South.
Do a show down there?
Oh, yeah.
Do a little pod?
Do a little Cajun barbecue or whatever it is.
Oh, my God.
Get some crocodile.
There's a place in Kansas City where the people, I guess, were from Louisiana, and they opened a Cajun spot, and it was...
I met, not to go get sidetracked here.
This is what we do.
I was at a work conference like 4 or 5 years ago down in Florida, and I met a guy from Louisiana, awesome, like nice dude, and he was telling me about how they go crocodile hunting and like how they do it. Like
crocodile hunting.
Like it's literally how you do it, like what you've seen on shows where they'll be like in a boat and they go down these like backwoods little like rivers where there's all these crocs around. And he was telling me the process of how they do it, and I'm just like, dude, you are nuts. But more power to you.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
This is the same show we talked about. What was it, like 3 or 4 weeks ago? We were like, "What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?" I said, "Crocs." Like,
Yeah.
we're going. I swear, I was even just thinking about that segment like a few days ago about how like we were talking about how more people get attacked by them than sharks, and how like their bite radius is like a T-Rex and like that whole thing. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, I know. They're fast on land too.
All right, bounce to it. We'll bounce back. So it's funny. Uncle Ricky is a perfect way to segue into our football chatter.
Oh boy, what's he saying?
He's saying, how about Joe Flacco to the Birds?
Ooh, yeah.
If he's a Ravens fan of Uncle Ricky, right? And he brought him a ring. So it's funny because I actually have in my notes, there's a few things we can dive into on the football front, but let's almost spin it around. This was not the direction I was going to start this. I was going to start with Deshaun Watson, but we'll get to that in a second.
Jesus.
I know. Well, and the thing is, it's like, actually, no, let's just do that real quick. We'll do that right now. There's not a whole lot to say, right? Whether there's like 16 cases. I mean, it's just like at this point, I don't know. We'll just find out. I mean, I don't think he's going to get traded because at this point, no one's going to trade for him with this much up in the air. And there's the news, right? Like, I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, if I'm Houston, I'm looking for a valid backup, a strong backup quarterback.
Well, they got Tyrod, so I feel like that's kind of
that's good. Yeah.
That works, and then you can always draft someone just to hang out back there. Yeah, it's like a third stringer if it doesn't work out.
No offense to Tyrod Taylor, but it's a good Band-Aid for a year.
No, and I'm rooting for him to have a really good bounce back. I feel so bad for him. That's just such horrible luck, right? You go to Cleveland, but they get Baker, so it's just kind of like that's not going to last. And then like you go to LA and you're trying to rally your career there, and then the team doctor punctures your lung.
I know.
And then you're out, and then Justin Herbert balls out. Yeah. So I'm rooting for him, and I think it's interesting in a place where Houston needs that feel good moment. Like it's kind of like Alex Smith in Washington last year a little bit.
Yeah, I like Tyrod. I think he's a great player, and
it's great, a little extreme.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, Zach, don't say great. I think he's a good player, and I think
that's solid.
He's a playmaker. Like he's elusive. He can make plays happen.
He's adequate.
Not great, but he's good. And I don't know. For his sake, I hope he seizes the opportunity and shows that he still has something in the tank. Because you're right. That's one player who's just constantly gotten the shaft year after year.
I know. All right, let's get to Uncle Ricky real quick. So Joe Flacco to the Birds. Let's go. Let's jump into the pool that way. Like it's almost like you're not jumping off the dive board, not going to the shallow end. You're just kind of jumping in the 6 feet area, doing the Joe Flacco stuff right now.
You're not going to drown, but it's still.
Yeah, but you're not actually. Yeah, it's not like it's really a fun ride. But since that point, I actually loved what he said. I think he said something in his press conference. Like he's like, "Well, I'm around the corner, so they called me. I just showed up. I don't really know what to expect." I think this is literally like getting Nick Foles without getting Nick Foles, and there's
like Josh McCown. He's like getting Josh McCown.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's right. The whole eyes are on Jalen Hurts to see if he takes those next steps with Sirianni, and I think I really do think they're going to do well. And this is like Joe Flacco is a perfect thing where no one knows. He's on the very tail end of his career, so it's just like. But there's trust there. He's won a Super Bowl, so if something happened to Jalen Hurts, he can at least hopefully hold the fort down. I know it makes you cringe as a Giants fan, but you know what I mean. From a third-party perspective, as hosts, we are.
Yeah, I think from a third-party perspective and being non-biased, I think Flacco is a player that would help keep you afloat in that type of situation. He's not going to, at this stage of his career, he's not going to propel you to new heights, but he's not going to sink the ship either. I think he's good from a backup perspective, worst case scenario, and I also think with his experience, I think he could be a good, mentor to Jalen Hurts. So I think that's good.
And then honestly, looking at the Eagles too, I thought that Anthony Harris signing was good.
Yeah.
And when I say good too, not just bringing him in, I think the deal they put in, because I think he was pissed off with the way the Vikings handled that franchise tag thing with him. I don't think it was 2 years in a row, but it may have been. Mm-hmm. It honestly may have been. I don't think. Yeah, let's just go one, and then maybe if it was two, it was. But he
fills a void that the Eagles defense has had for a long time.
And it's a 1 year deal. So I love 1 year deals because there's no way the person can slack off or play hurt or not play hurt, right? Like it's like they're going to give it everything they have to try to get the next contract. So I love them betting on themselves too. I love that confidence.
True. Yeah. Not like that. I'll say for me, like I know when the Giants sign someone to a 1 year deal, but if I like the person, it upsets me because I'm like, damn, I want them to be here longer than a 1 year deal.
Oh, I know. Well,
but yes, I see your point is a good one though.
All right, so I'll tell you what, speaking of the Giants signing people, Zachary, spin the wheel. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Kenny Galladay first.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way I had the deck lined up, the cards anyway, so I was ready for it.
Perfect.
So you're in your environment, wherever you are, cell phone in pocket, sun's out, shining on all of us. Find out Kenny Galladay is a Giant. Paint the picture for us.
Oh, I'm really excited because this was a huge need. Like, listen, I'm not saying Kenny Galladay is like the second coming, third coming, whatever the hell of Jesus or anything like that. I used hell and Jesus in the same sentence. How about that? Not saying anything like that he's our savior, but I think he's a huge addition to our offense. Being he's 6'4", he's a tall dude. He's the guy that Daniel Jones, frankly, has never had as far as a deep ball threat or a jump ball guy. Like, we've been relying on Sterling Shepard to be our red zone target, and Sterling Shepard's like, I'm not gonna say great, but he's a good wide receiver, but he's not the guy you need in those situations. And
oh, sorry, let me cut you off. I was gonna say, when you guys were saying, I feel like in the Giants group chat and stuff that I love how there's some like the proxy in there, but I feel like the Plexico Burress analogies were really good.
I think he's the 2021 version of Burress, and the situation is just like Burress, because if you look at their stats and you look at their injuries and that whole deal before coming to the Giants, it's very, very close. Like, they had a couple 1,000-yard seasons, a lot of touchdowns, all that, but they had some injury concerns, just like Galladay does. And the signing was the same deal. It was a long process. Then we signed Burress, and then it's the same situation with Galladay, it seems like. So I'm really excited about it because I think he turns 27 in November. He's still young. He's still got his prime, So.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Well, dude, you guys had a hell of a renaissance. That's kind of the way I put it in my notes. It's like it's what the Giants had. I mean, it's a fresher one. It's a healthier one. And I'm not like sitting here like saying it is with this and it is with that, and like judging your team. But I guess my point is, I think it's a way healthier and fresher renaissance than that Janoris Jenkins.
Olivier Vernon,
exactly,
David Harrison, all that.
Exactly, Snacks, and just like that whole renaissance. And to me, I think it still comes down to, it's like, no kidding, Kieran, how about that? It comes down to Daniel Jones. It comes down to your offensive line. It comes down to Joe Judge, a good coach, and Patrick Graham, good defensive coordinator, right? Like, I think I could see it going both ways to give you the straight, like, man-to-man talk. It's like, all right, son, sit down. Like, this is where we're at. But at the same point, I do it's almost like if you do you want to just have fun? All right, so it was Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, Patrick Graham, and your offensive line. Like, if those four, if you said to me, like, rank the confidence, I'd go Joe Judge 1, Patrick Graham 2, your offensive line 3, and Daniel Jones 4, which that's my, I guess, like, when I do therapy out loud like that, it's the only thing that concerns me about the Giants for you guys. I look at it, I'm just like, it's not good. The quarterback's the biggest question mark. But I'm not saying that I have a big question mark around him. I just think, to me, that's my biggest doubt probably lies in that grouping.
Yeah, so I'll do a little, like, analogy / kind of comparison.
Oh,
but
now we're talking.
So Josh Allen, his first 2 years, granted, they were not as bad as Daniel Jones with the turnovers and all that, but there was a lot of sloppiness in play with missed targets and some, control over the ball.
I felt, and I'll add this real quick, I felt the same, the way I felt about Josh Allen this time last year is how I feel about Daniel Jones, so I love where we're going already.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to say, then you saw the third-year leap. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to have an MVP candidate type of season, but, like, you saw that third-year leap, third year in the system, third year with the same team, being in the NFL, getting used to the game speed, and they got Josh Allen a weapon and Stephon Diggs, and we saw what happened there. We got Daniel Jones finally a big weapon in Kenny Galladay, so I'm not saying to expect a Josh Allen-like season from Daniel Jones, but I'm saying it's very possible he could have a maybe top 12 season this year. So,
yeah, I think so. And let me ask you this. I mean, you signed Kyle Rudolph. How much does that help? Like, just a young quarterback, a veteran guy like that who's been through it, been in the playoffs, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so I think the Kyle Rudolph one is good. I think it caught me a little bit by surprise, given that we have Evan Ingram, but kind of not at the same time, because this is Ingram's last year on his contract, so it's kind of like do or die. And I thought Rudolph was like a long-term kind of safety net if we were to lose Ingram or trade him or whatever. But I think from like a run blocking perspective, he's great. He's a really good run blocking tight end. And I also think, following the theme of a big body, guy for red zone and touchdowns. I think Rudolph fits that mold too, as far as a big target for, the red zone possessions. So I like it. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think it's intriguing. And then you got the whole, I'll say this. I get it. Well, no, I get it real quick. I'll say this. I get the back and forth with the rival thing because the Packers and Vikings were doing this whole thing with Adoree Jackson. I'd be having fun too if they skipped going to the Vikings or whatever. But I kind of chuckle. I feel like everyone's kind of making a bigger deal about that. That's just the money. Like I thought it was a pretty good deal he got.
I thought it was pretty good as well.
Yeah, like that was enough of a deal if I'm him that I would not be going to Philly as well, just because I'm like, that's a really good deal. I'm not going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But excited. I mean, so paint the picture real quick too, because I knew you guys were doing it in the group chat. I couldn't watch it too much because it was in old corporate America this week. But I saw you guys were painting a little bit of a picture in the secondary with what you got with Logan Ryan and McKinley. But I mean, you got a little thing going there.
Yeah, I think James Bradbury obviously had a hell of a year last season, was best season yet, and I would expect him, because of where he's at in his career, to kind of maintain that level. And I think bringing Adoree Jackson in, I remember when Adoree Jackson got drafted, everyone thought he was going to be this and that, and he wasn't horrible with Tennessee, not at all, but he didn't quite live up to his potential, I don't think. So for me, if the Giants are signing him to that deal, they must have a good, I trust Joe Judge. Whatever Joe Judge is doing, I'm for it. Joe Judge could say, Zach, you know what? Today's National Overall Day. I'm wearing overalls that day. I trust it. I trust in Joe Judge.
Isn't it fun when you trust your coach?
Oh, it feels great. I couldn't say the same about Pat Shurmur. Couldn't say the same about Ben McAdoo, Kieran. Had to throw Pat Shurmur in. This wouldn't be a show without talking about Pat Shurmur. But no, I trust in what the Giants brass is doing, and I also want to give credit to Dave Gettleman. I mean, think about it. He hit on our free agents last year. He's done a decent job with our draft picks, I would say, hitting. Tay Crowder was what's the last guy in the draft called? Mr. Irrelevant, and he had valuable playing time for us last year and did pretty well. So I think overall, I'm starting to trust what he's doing more and more. I never was really against Gettleman. I kind of questioned some things, but I never really distrusted him. But overall, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, Adoree Jackson, Bradbury, Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney. I think McKinney's going to have a really good second year. And Jabril Peppers, obviously, is to me, he's like a more consistent Landon Collins right now. So
yeah.
I don't know. Not trying to be on the Giants hype train because there's still holes we have.
This time of year. It's March. You have to be on the hype train.
I'm always an optimistic Giants fan for the most part. So,
No, I mean, just better than being a Bears fan.
How about that signing, Kieran? Are you nervous as a Packers fan? Are you scared or what?
Scale to 0 to 10, like a -30.
Well, you pinned it on your Twitter profile, so I'd say you're pretty.
Exactly, that was a beautiful suggestion on your. Please take credit for that. Don't be modest. Please don't be humble. Toot your horn here. This is your idea, and I had to do it.
Yeah, no. Well, you were asking how to frame a tweet, so I said, "Hey, you might as well just pin it, right?" Because
it's still there.
I love how they say QB1 and it's Andy Dalton. Like, do they not realize how? Like, that makes them look like the laughing stock of the NFL.
Well, and also, I know. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
That would be like the Eagles saying Joe Flacco.
Nick Foles is better than him, I think, right?
I don't know.
I would rather have Nick Foles under center than Andy Dalton. Nick Foles, it's like kind of like higher or lower, like it's more volatile. But I think, Andy Dalton, it's just you're just crashing with that.
Yeah, neither option is good by any means. But I don't know. I still think Andy Dalton is slightly better than Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles was a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
I like him. I just think he was a flash in the pan.
If you get that flash, see, I think that's my point. I think if you get that flash in the pan,
it was a big flash. Obviously,
it is a big flash.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I don't know what to think about them. I don't mean this to be like, I don't know. I really don't even know what the word would be, but I look at the Bears. I'm just like Brian Pace and Matt Nagy. Like, this is the hill you want to die on, right? Like this can't be.
Well, Matt Nagy,
but at the same point, who else is really? I mean, I guess they could draft a quarterback.
I mean, to me, I think that's the only way you can go, right? Like, Trubisky's no longer with you, so that investment and that skin in the game of your second overall pick, that's no longer on your back. So I think you have to draft one.
And it's funny, like looking at it from a third party's perspective. I actually feel for them trying to get Russell Wilson because it's just like that's your life preserver, and it's just like nah. Like,
yeah, I
that's
know.
it.
Yeah,
Like, it's being out of there's no more lifeboats on the Titanic. Like, that's it. It's a wrap.
it's crazy. You know, one thing I will say about like talking about the Bears with Trubisky, for example, and now he signed a 1 year. What was it, $2.5 million to be the backup for the Bills? I think we're starting to see kind of a trend. I feel like where you get these quarterbacks like Jameis Winston, Trubisky, where they sign these like low level deals to sit in the background for a little bit, as like to try to like revamp their career. So it's just, I don't know, it's just an interesting trend that I haven't really.
Well, what the hell did Andy Dalton do for Dallas? It makes it go, oh yeah, he's QB1. I didn't think he was QB2 material after what I saw. I was like, oh god, I don't want him as my backup.
No, yeah, I think I don't know. It's interesting, but hey, good for them for showing faith and that they believe in him. I guess if I'm Nick Foles, I'm feeling a little slighted, but I'm also collecting $18 million a year, so I don't care if I'm Nick Foles. So,
well, that's it. Speaking of believing in themselves, I'll start with the Packers. Why not? I put a little list together of teams that I called "Bringing the Band Back Together," where they basically just brought back all their own and restructured deals. Two teams were pretty good. The one team was the one that beat us in the NFC Championship game. I just don't like talking about it very much, Zach. But anyway, I mean, it's funny. I'm looking at the tweet. I love Andy Herman, and hopefully we're going to get him the show in June. But I love his tweet. He was saying, if you told me a month ago that like Kevin King, Aaron Jones, Preston Smith, Shannon Sullivan, Dean Lowry would still be Packers, he would have said you're nuts. But like, hey, so the Packers took an interesting path. They're bringing back all their guys. They have faith in them. Let's see how it plays out. And then he actually had another tweet too. I'll just add to that. I thought was really good, just saying that like really the two biggest free agents for the Packers were Joe Barry and Bruce Drayton, their special teams coordinator and defensive coordinator switch up. So I think Drayton being special teams and Barry being defensive coordinator, but I kind of pull that back, and I think all that's very accurate. I didn't think most of those guys would be back, if any of them, to be honest. You heard how I was talking about Aaron Jones. I said that on the last show we did. Definitely thought there was a better chance I'd play for the Packers next year than Preston Smith, and here we are. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything with them, and I like it. And this is probably I want to throw this out there. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Dude, shut up," but I mean this, and just tell me if I'm way off the mark. I really do think they were the best team last year, and they just played really poorly in one tournament game that cost them, and it sucks, and that's just how it goes. That team had their number; they beat them. It's how honest to God, if the Saints win that game, I think we win the Super Bowl. Right? Like so. But the problem is that's not how it goes. But I think if you're looking at the team construction and you're looking at what else is out there to try to get better, and you realize there's not a whole lot with the money situation that you have, and you say, well, let's bring the band back together. If everyone's down to come back and play a song, Kevin King's coming back. I don't care why Packers fans are upset about that.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. He's playing on a 1 year deal with all these incentives. He's injury prone, and like he's a little shaky. If you're going to do that, 1 year deal is perfect. It's perfect. You have no other options. We need a quarterback too. You have to put him in. It's fine. He knows the defense already. He's going to learn. But he's got chemistry with the rest of the secondary as they learn the new defense together. But my point being, I'm okay with it. And I'll even double down. The Bucs, same thing. I like what they did. And Pittsburgh, though, that's the one I kind of look at. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I want to take a step back. How do you feel about
please.
How do you feel about Jamal Williams going to Detroit? Because I know this was like something we were talking about for a while. What was going to happen with Aaron Jones? We thought he was gone, and Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon would be the new. I kind of feel for Jamal. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm
hurting. This is no. This is I'm hurt. Please go.
No, I feel for Jamal Williams because he's going to Detroit, where he's still not the clear-cut lead number one guy, when he, to me, has the potential to be the number one guy.
Yeah, I thought he was getting... Well, and, basically, I felt the rhythm of Twitter, like my NFC North Twitter vibes, if you will, that I follow. I feel like that was kind of the general taste was... You couldn't do better than that? But
if I'm him, I don't know. And he goes to Detroit, too, like a division rival. So does that bother you at all? I know you like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I don't want to see that. It hurts. Oh, I love him. I'll still love him. I really will. Like, that guy could play for anybody, and I'll still always kind of just be like, if he scores, I'll just be like, God damn it, I love you, but like I can't right now.
Yeah.
But
well, he could be fun to draft on your fantasy team.
No, he won't be. I can't do NFC North guys. I can't do it because I can never actually root for the Lions to do anything good. Like if he fails, I'll just be like, well, it just sucks. But that's what happens when he's time with the Lions. But But let me go.
It's Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, it's that point, and it's funny. I'll even kind of mix. Like, I don't know. I was trying to put the Colts in there because they brought T.Y. Hilton back, but obviously they got Carson Wentz. So they definitely did shuffle it up.
Yeah.
And I'll add this in there. So Pittsburgh, and then Jameis to the Saints, which kind of keeps it in the family. Based on, I guess my trend is there are some ones like AJ Green going to the Cards that we'll get to, but in general, I feel like a lot of this offseason, if there's any common denominator, it's guys going back to their homes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like Juju, they said, I don't know
the exact numbers,
but he took a significant pay, like significant less of a contract to stay in Pittsburgh than what he would have gotten for the Jets, for example.
And was it at Baltimore too?
And Baltimore like desperately needs wide receiver help, so they were probably throwing the kitchen sink in, and he still said no.
I don't get that.
I think he must. It's probably because like you know like as he probably has a tie.
I was thinking fastball, and he threw a changeup basically where I really my knees buckled.
Yeah, that was kind of like a dud. Like like Kenny Galladay gets this big contract, big huge signing, and then Juju was supposed to be the next guy behind that.
And if you're going to go for a 1-year deal, why not just go to like Green Bay or something? If you're just going to go for cheap and do something like just why not?
I think he sees that. Like I think he has a connection to the city of Pittsburgh, obviously, and loves it there and family.
Yeah, I guess he does.
And I don't know. I think he sees that this is like the year after Pittsburgh's kind of giving it all to try to win the Super Bowl.
One last run for Benny.
So I think he wants to be a part of that.
And what do you think about too? You mentioned Baltimore. What do they do with wide receiver? That's an Uncle Ricky thing too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, I guess you draft or do you? I know you hear the dogs barking in the background, but
I love it.
I know in our group chat we were talking about the Giants possibly maybe trading back for the Ravens to get one of those wide receivers because they need them. But I don't know. We don't really trade back too much, so I don't see it happening.
Well, and the other thing is, I get you can have a really good wide receiver that's a rookie, just like Justin Jefferson, but it's also you can always look at the best case scenario at anything and then suggest that's how it's going to go. That's probably not how it's going to go, right?
No.
Like, so that's kind of my thought with the Ravens. Well, wouldn't you want that AJ Green to the Cardinals?
You would think so. I mean, and you're spot on with the wide receiver thing because last year we were talking about Henry Ruggs, we were talking about CeeDee Lamb, we were talking about Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. Brandon
Ayuk.
Yeah, all of them were
he
done.
did actually have a pretty good fantasy.
Yeah, you're right. He did. And CeeDee Lamb was okay.
But that was like that nonsense San Fran trash where like they just rack up yards.
End around, and he has one catch for 10 yards, but he has a 60-yard rush for a touchdown. It's like,
Exactly, just like...
Yeah. So, but to your point, sometimes wide receiver hype, because they're a sexy, skilled position, it gets a little blown out of proportion. So, it's a good point. But they need to do something.
No, I was going to say, now what... Dude, I feel like I missed this point in the NFC East thing. Dan Quinn to Dallas scares me. I saw Tom Pelissero had a point on the NFL Network this week where he said that was the biggest acquisition Dallas had, or maybe the biggest offseason acquisition in general, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because Mike McCarthy, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm a Packers fan. Let me tell you more about Mike McCarthy, right? Like, but no, I really will say what's his kryptonite? It's his defense, and it's his special teams, and now you have Dan Quinn there that can run the show. That's horrifying. Because I saw him with Dom Capers a long time ago, saying it was a long time ago. But there was once upon a time, Zach, in a land far away, where Dom Capers had a good defense, and it worked. And that's what scares me about Dan Quinn with the Cowboys.
No, and that's a good point. I think the Cowboys still need a lot of help in their secondary, and they lost Aldon Smith, so that's a huge loss. But you're right. I mean, Dan Quinn, now that he can focus solely on the defense, which is his specialty, that is a big addition for sure.
Yeah,
and think about that
Dak had numbers with them.
I know. And you look at that NFC East, the Giants defense was, I think, top 8 last year. Washington defense, like a top 5 defense, and then if this defense in Dallas is going to be what we're thinking with Dan Quinn now, the NFC East is going to be a tough defensive division, as it usually is.
I think you get 3 teams in next year.
You could. You could. I mean,
with that,
that'd be nice as long as one of them is the Giants. I'd take that.
I mean, 75% chance. But I'll tell you, at that point, I would have thought there was a 0% chance if you're a referee getting mic'd up and getting fired afterwards. And this is all, I actually really feel bad for Tim Peel. I feel like I always take the weird stances on these things. I feel like the unpopular opinion. All right, I'll even just kind of fill everyone in real quick before we dive into the dialogue of the whole get up. So Tim Peel is an NHL ref who has been there for a while, and unfortunately, I'm an idiot. I did not write down how long his tenure was, but he at least over 20 years, and he did Olympic games, playoff games, obviously, and he was going to retire in April anyway. So I wonder if that's actually some of this with the NHL's response. But he was caught mic'd up. And let me actually, so I believe the quote was, I wanted to get Nashville a blank penalty. And, let me just play it real quick.
Yeah, let's play
a little hot mic.
It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a penalty against Nashville. It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a penalty against Nashville.
Yeah, there we go. So the NHL had their little response for the firing them and about the integrity of the game, and of course, because Gary Bettman's got such room to talk about that. But anyway, nevertheless, Tim Peel got fired, and I think everyone's talking about how gambling and this and that have like such a role in all this. Well, let me ask you this: you're a hockey fan. For your first year, you're a new, and this is perfect. I'm not like picking on you. You're a new fan to the game of hockey, Zach. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I was thinking about this the other day. How I've noticed in hockey, typically, like the officials, I feel like there's no issues with officials in hockey. I feel like most of the time there's decent, and maybe I'm ignorant, but I feel like most of the times from what I've seen, there's ever been calls that have been horrible to the point where it's like in a lot of other sports. So I don't know. This kind of took me off guard, but maybe it's something that needs to be looked at a little bit more. And when you hear a ref saying that, it's like, okay, what? So there's clearly some bias, which is not right.
So it's, bear with me for a second. So I wanted to tweet out, because honestly, when I heard the quote and heard just his tone and context of all of it, my initial thought, Zach, was he's just it's probably bad context. Like, he's just calling the game. Like, he probably wanted to call something on them to establish like they can't be doing what they've been doing for the first two periods or whatever, right? Like, I thought there was a lot of gray area for a guy not to lose his job. Then I saw the penalty, and I was like, oh god,
was it not
a tripping call? There's nothing there. There's nothing at all, and like that is where it just sounds bad, because it sounds like it's just like it was staged. You know what I mean? Like, just that it was like planned or whatever, that he was just going to call it regardless of what it actually was, which, I mean, at that point you hate it, because then, and this is why, and I feel bad, I'm not saying, he should be fired, but I think the reason why I can at least understand the concept is, like, you can't, as much as we want, and here's the thing, I hate the takes where everyone's like, I played sports and there's makeup calls all the time. It's like, I know, thanks for telling us you played sports. Like, no, like everyone knew that. So but the problem is, I think with that whole idea is, where's the score kept, right? Like, you can't have makeup calls. It's more if you just miss it. If you want to do, you don't ever admit it though, right? Like, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I would never, but at the same point, I never played hockey, where a lot of these guys are saying this is part of the culture. So I have no idea.
I think the biggest reason why he got fired was, I think the NHL, you can't really allow anything like that to slide, because so many fans could take that in so many different ways. Like, oh, well, maybe the NHL's in on it then. Like, is it rigged?
And gambling and stuff.
So it's kind of like you can't have, like, it's got to be like a no nonsense policy, unfortunately.
Do you think if sports gambling, if this was 10 years ago, he would have gotten fired?
Probably. I still think so, because, I mean, the thing, I feel like, and this is actually brings up an interesting point, I think sports gambling, it's been around forever. But I just think now it's so normalized, like everyone thinks that originally, but it's always been around, you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I still think he probably would have got fired. Because you saw the NCAA.
I like that take. Not why not, you know what I mean? Like, I like your point of view on it.
Yeah, like you saw the NCAA basketball scandal, right? Like, back was in the 90s with, so,
Boston College.
Yeah, with Boston College, like that whole deal. So.
Oh, you get it, Gabagoo.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Did you ever see that 30 for 30?
I did.
That's good. Was it playing for the mop or whatever?
Yeah.
But I'll say, and it's one of those things. It's like we could go in circles about it. But so you want to just do a little menu, though?
Yeah,
a hockey menu?
Speaking of Gabagool, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead. I feel for you here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the menu, and right now I'm seeing leadership is not a problem at all for the Sabres. Jack Eichel is doing all he can. He's a great captain for the team. Now you see, look,
this year, dude.
Look, Kieran, I'm wearing a Sabres hoodie here. Like,
I gotta get you on there. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Sabres hoodie. Like, I'm still proud and all that good stuff, even though we've lost 15 in a row, which I think might be an NHL record. Yeah. So I will say this: leadership is absolutely an issue, right? We fired Ralph Kruger. Don Granato is now the interim, and he has COVID or is on the COVID list. So now, Kieran, our GM, Kevin Adams, I think it is, or Abrams, whatever, is coaching tonight. Our GM is coaching tonight because of because in this team, I will say, I'm not trying to be. There's no excuses because we were off for like 2.5 weeks because of COVID protocols. We were 500 team prior to that. And then all of a sudden that COVID protocol layoff happened and the team was all out of sorts, players coming back, some players not right away. And we were junk. We haven't played the same ever since. And Eichel right now is hurt, okay, which I don't know how he got hurt, but, hurt. Not calling him out, but I'm just saying I don't know what I don't know what it is. But long story short, I think he hasn't really stepped up to the plate. He hasn't really led by example. I mean, you could have 2 goals.
I empathize with you there.
Yeah, you could have 2 goals and still be a great leader, But he hasn't really done anything. Like, the most fire I saw out of this team was with our rookie Dylan Cousins when he dropped gloves and almost knocked the guy out. Like, that was the most fire I've seen from the Sabres all season, and that's from a rookie, So, I don't know. He's
an old Patrick.
Plain and simple, I'm not ordering off the menu. I'm completely full. And I'm not hungry for this.
Dude, I'm with you. Because I was going to say, I'll pull up my menu item, and they're talking about the expansion draft, Zach, with the Kraken, the Seattle Kraken. That'll actually be kind of fun, getting them in the mix, I guess. But the expansion draft, right? So Vegas is in first place. I feel like they've had a very fruitful few years, especially when you look at expansion teams. They're definitely the most successful team out of the gate. I don't think there's any – maybe the Titans – but that doesn't even count because they were the Oilers. I mean, it wasn't like they were in a team that didn't exist at all, right? Where they had to use the expansion draft.
But the Texans, yeah,
exactly. Like, I think Vegas is the best expansion draft team just across the board in all the sports. But I mean,
so how does it work?
Tough.
Do players that are like free agents get thrown in? Is that how it is?
Sort of. So basically, the very high level, it's just that you have an X, and I'm drawing a blank on the exact numbers. I want to say it's about 10 players you can protect. But basically, you can protect players, okay. And then after that, it's just like they can pick one by one from each team. They just grab one guy from your team and they take them on and stuff. But obviously, like, their contract situation plays into that and all that stuff. So. And if you have like a new trade clause, like you're not going anywhere and stuff like that. But it's interesting because I guess the way and why I'm asking the question or why it's on the menu is, so I guess they must have done less in the past. Like, you got, like, the way it worked was maybe teams could protect more players. That's a better way of putting it. So you had less options to pick from. So you're getting lower quality players. But right, if you've one less defenseman and one less winger, well, those guys are going to be better than the rest of the things to pick from, right? Like, so I'm with it. I don't like those new teams where they're just absolutely horrible. I think it's fine, especially out west. Like, I'm not, whatever.
Yeah, we're not really in the same ball field. So I guess you're ordering it. Are you hungry for it?
Yeah, I guess I am. Guess I am. I was like trying to think of like how it was phrased. Yeah, I guess I am hungry for the expansion draft. Yeah, I'm with it.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Well, I know. Well, I'll say at that point, you pumped. We got anything good for the weekend ahead besides Sweet 16?
Oh yeah, we got UFC 260. Got a heavyweight title fight.
Fighting.
That's right. Yeah. It's on pay-per-view, so you get to spend a little cabbage to watch it. It's Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou heavyweight fight, and they actually fought back in January of 2018, and Miocic won. So,
oh my,
this is good. And have you ever watched Francis Ngannou fight? Like,
no,
his fights,
I mean, I don't know their names so much. But.
Like, dude, his fights like don't last more than like 30 seconds. Like he throws the most vicious hands I've ever seen in the UFC. I'm not just saying this to hype it up.
I'm gonna watch that.
It's Yeah, it's scary. I mean, obviously Miocic is good because he's a champion, but he's defended it numerous times and beaten a lot of great fighters. But yeah, that's another something to have on your radar for the weekend.
I like that.
There's also another bracket this weekend in the PGA Tour. They're doing the Match Play Championship down in Austin, Texas.
Go on.
Yeah, so they have the top 60. It's a WGC event. They take the top 64 golfers in the world, and the first round, the way it works, there's 16 groups. It's kind of like with World Cup. So like Group 1, they'll have 4. So like if you're in that group and there's 3 other golfers, you play those other 3 golfers one time. And if you win, you get a point. If you lose, you don't get anything. If you tie, you get half a point.
I love that.
Yeah, whoever has the most points in that group advances then. And then after there, you're down to 16 golfers. And then from there on, it's bracket play.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's been on since Wednesday. It started yesterday.
I might throw it on.
Yeah, you should. You really should. Match play is a lot of fun to watch in golf. It's a little different.
It's funny. We got the Masters coming up
in 2 weeks. Yeah. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that.
We have to bucket list cover that one time.
That would be incredible. Yeah, hopefully when the world resumes.
I know. I'll look into that next year.
Yeah.
But this is fun. Yeah, it's speaking of let's not even think about next year. Let's think about next week. Next week will be fun. We'll talk about the Elite 8 and all the Sweet 16 breakdowns, and we'll fun little action chatty boy will be back in. We'll get some more. We have some more springtime guests coming in, so we'll have some fun.
There you go. Oh yeah, definitely excited. And we got our bracket pool going, so it's been competitive. Yeah. It's really close so far.
Absolutely. And then real quick, I was about to say, so if you want updates on all that fun stuff, hey, check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit at _GetSidetracked, and check us out on the website, www.get-sidetracked.com. And then audio episodes, Spotify, and iTunes, as always. Look at that. It's almost, it's always funny, like after a week of just like running through this again, but it checks out on Twitch. Obviously, follow the heart to the left, subscribe to the right. It's not free unless you have Amazon Prime. It's free for Amazon Prime to subscribe. But all that being said, you can. Okay, well, I was about to do the March Madness bracket, Zach, but that is closed. But good luck to everyone with the Bob Knight photo. Look at that. There you go. I gotta get the Bob Knight little photo, a little love. But speaking of subscriptions and all that fun stuff, check us out on our YouTube channel. We have all sorts of fun highlights and interesting stuff to jump into, so you can check us out, subscribe, all the fun stuff. That's free. So, there's no excuse for that one. And then, well, this isn't free, but if you want to go to the store, spend a little money on some gear or something, that'd be kind of fun, right? So you got all that sitting on the Sidetrack store, so you can always check us out. We have
7 days till opening day, too.
I know. I'm so pumped. How hyped are you?
Yeah, so I'm sure Chad will have a lot of
violence, dude. Let's get it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm pumped. Week away. Awesome. Right. So that's actually really how good shows coming up. So we got Monday's the Elite 8, and then Thursday we got opening day.
Oh yeah.
Fives are cooking, Zachary.
That's right.
Awesome. We want to thank everyone for watching the show tonight, but we'll see everyone in the living room 7:00 on Monday.